Welcome to the James Tellen Woodland Sculpture Garden. Between 1942 and 1957, James Tellen created over 30 historic, religious, and mythic figures within the woods surrounding his family's summer cabin in Black River, Wisconsin. He sculpted figures in concrete and arranged them in lifelike tableau, using the natural environment as a kind of ready-made stage set. Nestled into their natural surroundings, the sculptures are imbued with a magical serenity, enticing visitors to submerge themselves within Tellen's imaginative realm. By trade, Tellen detailed fine furniture with accented stripes and flourishes for Sheboygan's Northern Furniture Company. His skill as a draftsman had been developed through correspondence classes, and he learned metalwork and other arts in night school. Tellen drew, painted, sculpted, and carved for pleasure, and at age 62, his ideas of building outdoor sculptures crystallized. Tellen's ideas for such sculptural works had been inspired during a hospital stay when, from his window, he viewed peaceful figures installed in church garden grotto. Tellen took advantage of the long Wisconsin winters by beginning his sculptures in his basement. The heads for his eventual figures first took shape in clay or wood models. From his models, Tellen fabricated a plaster mold and then cast the finished head in concrete. When summer came, Tellen took the heads to the Black River cabin property and mounted them on bodies fashioned from metal armatures and wire mesh skeletons. He completed the figures with layers of cement and sometimes painted the final sculpture in naturalistic tones. Tellen buried remnants of early attempts on the property, enjoying the idea that, at some time in the future, his eerie collection of cement heads might be unexpectedly unearthed. Tellen's grandson recalled riding the bus out to Black River from Sheboygan. He spent long summer days helping his grandfather mix cement for the sculptures and watched in awe as Tellen applied the mixture to the sculpture's wire armatures. The 1949 Milwaukee Journal described Tellen's process of making concrete figures. First, Tellen builds the body using about 3 layers of concrete. Each coat has to dry before the others can be added. The text is added with the last layer. Then the arms are attached. The final step is to plaster the head on. The whole process takes a month of Sundays and requires about 200 pounds of concrete. According to family members, Tellen's initial work in concrete began with Log Fence and Native American Family Tableau, his trompe-l'oeil masterpiece of a 65-foot-long log fence, a life-size mother bear and her 2 clambering cubs, and an evocative portrayal of a Native American family. This masterwork flanks Evergreen Drive, where it surprises passing drivers and entices visitors into the woodland sculpture garden. Moving through the gateway and towards the cabin, visitors will pass various tableaux constructed on textured concrete. On your left, there is a pioneer woman and cowboy tableau. Therein, a life-size cowboy on a horse chats with a woman by a well, her loyal dog by her side. Next, the picnic scene requires an adjustment of perspective to miniature scale. In this scene, any number of narratives are possible. A woman scolds a fallen man who may have drunkenly dropped a picnic basket while other revelers party merrily nearby. Just beyond, Tellen fashioned a small working water mill, adding an element of sound and motion to the trail. On the northern side of the path, an intriguing opening within the hollow tree invites viewers to stick their heads inside for a tongue-in-cheek revelation. Tellen's hand-hewn cabin and certain sculptural pieces in the yard both embody and allude to the pioneering ethic of hard-working Americans, foremost being the iconic Abe Lincoln. Tellen's concrete tableau of Lincoln stands near the cabin driveway. Slightly less than life-size, Lincoln is seen taking a break from splitting logs. His bearing and the tools he uses attest to upright character and honest labor. Just as Tellen's cabin blends with its leafy surroundings, the concrete log beneath Lincoln's axe lies casually on the ground near its real counterparts, seamlessly merging nature with the man-made. Tellen avoided the unnecessary cutting down of trees, yet he liked the natural look of the timbers he had used to fabricate the family cabin. Wisconsin's long, snowy winters and extended wet springs made the Tellen cabin a seasonal place, a rustic getaway that seemed a world apart from their Sheboygan home. At the front of the 2-story cabin is a screened-in porch. The front porch is ornamented with Tellen's metalwork, and the spacious living room just beyond features a fireplace that Tellen made from local stone. Appointments inside, such as birch tree ceiling beams, stair railings, and table legs, reflect Tellen's wish to do, in the spirit of Lincoln, his own honest and original work. The furnishings of the cabin were dramatically different from the fine furniture of Tellen's workaday world. They brought the outdoors inside and reinforced the comprehensive sense of retreat from urban life. At the south end of the living room, a stairway ascends to the 4 bedrooms above. At the back of the cabin, a rustic kitchen is replete with wood stove, a hand-pumped sink, and adjacent dining nook with built-in cupboards and seating. Tellen adorned a room divider with decorative metal silhouettes, iron candle sconces, a cylindrical chandelier with metal figures silhouetted around its perimeter, and several ornate door hinges. Simple, functional, and charged with a rustic aesthetic, these cabin fittings reinforce the total effect of the livable wilderness haven with allusions to an earlier time. Before electricity was installed, the windows were the only means of encouraging light and cross breezes into the cabin during long, hot summer nights and days. Heat from the living room, wood stove, and fireplace rose to warm the upstairs bedrooms on cooler evenings. Early morning scents of bacon and eggs or warm fruit pies once wafted through the cabin, and a window between kitchen and living room allowed family members to sit comfortably and chat with the cook. The cabin interior reflects family-centered and functional spaces, deeply enhanced by a sense of hearth and home. Tellen's relief of 3 Indian warriors with rifles on galloping horses set into the stone facade of the cabin fireplace mimics cast bronze, though it is carved in plaster covered with metallic paint. The faux bronze patina covers realistically portrayed figures, stereotypes of a frontier America, distanced from their indigenous origins by the rifles they carry. This white man's version of the Indian motif is repeated in the stylized form of a brave's profile painted on a wood chair nearby, in a silhouetted figure in a birch bark canoe on the fireplace screen, and outdoors in the garden sculpture. On the cabin's south side is a small building called the Brought House. The primitive structure features large screen windows surrounding a central grill inside and a stone floor. Here is its story described in the 1949 Milwaukee Journal. He built the cottage itself with the help of 3 relatives. Then he built a huge stone fireplace for outdoor grills. When it rained one picnic day, Tellen built a roof. But it was muddy, so he added a floor of fieldstone inlaid in concrete. Finally, he added walls so that the grill could be used all year. The metal grill inside was called the bratwurst fire. Assorted small tables and chairs surround the grill, and against one wall is an oak saloon bar with wide mirror and adjacent shelves for liquor bottles, which undoubtedly reflected light within the cozy space. The Brought House was used for card parties and as a cooking and dining space for the growing Tellen family of children and grandchildren, especially for the family's Sunday gatherings. Just behind the cabin is Tellen's most overt tribute to American popular culture, We Whistle While We Work. Part ode to Bacchus and partly appropriated from the Walt Disney's Snow White cartoon, a sculpture of entwined concrete tree limbs frame a scene of elfin winemakers as they haul and stomp grapes. Musician gnomes play various instruments, including one who plays a harp made from the crook of a bent tree, and brightly painted flowers, fruits, and leaves adorn the sculptural tree parts on special occasions. As the pathway into the woodland garden progresses, Tellen's sculptures focus less on Americana and more on the artist's depictions of religion and spirituality. A boardwalk leads into the woods. Along it, Tellen's concrete tableaux comprise a kind of short pilgrimage. Scenes include those of a skunk and goat tableau, St. Peter's Basilica in miniature, and a prehistoric panorama, a stark landscape that, on special occasions, is populated by small cavemen, dinosaurs, and mountain goats. There is a figure lying prone on a raft, adrift in a sea of perils, and a heartfelt depiction of St. Peter with fish, originally made for a friend and later relocated to this site, plumbed to have a running brook by its side. A bust of Christ emerges from a column, and a serene sculpture of Our Lady of Fatima marks the end of the trail. There you may sit on a bench and contemplate the surroundings. The cathedral of trees and filtered light, with its carpet of ferns, wood, and rocks, conjures of grotto setting an idyllic theater of nature. This place became a sanctuary for Tellen and fellow parishioners who enjoyed the spot for outdoor rosary. Tellen attended Mass every morning and was active in religious fraternities, including the Charitable Association of St. Vincent de Paul. Though he had visited the rock and shell-encrusted shrines created by Father Matthias Renius at the Holy Ghost Park in Dickeyville, Wisconsin. He did not similarly embed his own concrete pieces with colorful glass, shells, crockery, or semi-precious stones. Rather, Tellen's work is textured with surface pattern to mimic that which they represent. Each contemplative person who progresses down this pathway and wanders through the rest of the James Tellen Woodland Sculpture Garden will form unique impressions of this journey.